What does it mean to be truly unshakable? To walk through chaos without letting it touch you, to lose everything and still remain whole. For the ancient Stoics, greatness wasn't about fame, power, or even success. It was about something much harder, being a human being of complete integrity, no matter the circumstance. Today, we're diving into the life and wisdom of a man who had everything, but still chose self-mastery over self-indulgence. And his teachings, they might just be the antidote to modern anxiety. Let's talk about Marcus Aurelius, but not as a Roman emperor. Let's talk about him as a student of life, and what he can teach us about becoming untouchable in a world that feels constantly out of control. Who was Marcus Aurelius, really? You've probably heard his name in passing. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, the ruler of the Roman Empire at its peak. But here's the twist. He didn't want to be emperor. He didn't crave power. In fact, what he really wanted was to live a quiet life of thought and reflection. But duty called, and when the call came, he answered with humility, not ambition. Think about that. You're handed the keys to the most powerful empire on earth, and your instinct is to say, I didn't ask for this, but I'll serve. Now imagine this. You're in charge of a world empire. You have infinite wealth, authority, and zero accountability. No one can tell you no. History has shown what men become in that position. Tyrants, addicts, monsters. But Marcus, he remained good. Not just occasionally, but consistently for 2 decades. No scandals, no cruelty, no indulgent downfall. In a world that tried to corrupt him at every turn, Marcus Aurelius stayed committed to one thing: his inner code. That's not just impressive, that's legendary. The journal of a man at war with himself. Now, what makes Marcus really fascinating isn't just how he ruled, but what he wrote. He kept a personal journal, not for the public, not for politics, just for himself. Today, we know it as meditations, but it wasn't meant to be a book. It was more like a battle log. Not of a war fought with swords, but of a war fought within. The entries are raw, honest, sometimes even conflicted. They show a man constantly reminding himself how to stay centered, how to do the right thing, how not to lose himself in temptation or ego. And because it wasn't written to impress anyone, it does something rare. It shows us what true strength looks like from the inside. Live according to your nature. One of Marcus's core beliefs is this: live according to nature. Now, that might sound vague, but to him it meant something precise. Just like a tree grows upward, just like water flows downward, everything in nature fulfills its purpose by following its nature. So, what is human nature? To think, to care, to choose virtue, even when it's inconvenient. Marcus believed that your nature is to be rational, kind, courageous, and just. Not because someone tells you to, but because that's what it means to be fully human. He wrote, "Just as the vine produces grapes, the human mind is made to produce goodness. So when you choose patience instead of anger, when you forgive instead of retaliate, you're not being weak. You're living in alignment with your highest self." That's the standard he held himself to. Every day, other people will test you. That's their job. Marcus lived in the real world. He wasn't meditating on a mountaintop. He dealt with soldiers, senators, backstabbers, and endless politics. And yet, his writings never descend into bitterness. Why? Because he understood something simple but life-changing. People will test you. That's not a flaw in the system. That is the system. He compared it to a blacksmith getting angry that his fire is hot. That's just part of the job. So instead of wishing others would change, he focused inward. When someone lied to him, betrayed him, or acted selfishly, he didn't explode. He asked, "Do I ever act that way? Am I so different?" And even when he was in the right, he didn't gloat. Because for him, winning an argument wasn't the goal. Maintaining his character was. Adversity isn't the enemy, it's the test. Marcus's reign was far from peaceful. He led Rome through wars, a pandemic, economic struggles, you name it. But through all of it, he kept a steady mind. His philosophy? Don't wish for an easy life. Build the strength to handle a hard one. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To him, pain and difficulty weren't tragedies. They were the forge, the crucible, the test of whether you were truly living according to your values. So when life hits hard, and it will, he reminds us, don't curse the challenge. Become the person who can rise to meet it. That's what separates the fragile from the formidable, the trap of chasing more. Despite ruling the wealthiest empire on earth, Marcus saw the emptiness of chasing status, wealth, or luxury. He wrote often about how quickly all of it fades. Palaces crumble, statues fall, fame disappears. So if you build your life around those things, you're building a sandcastle in a rising tide. Instead, he focused on the internal, on being good rather than looking good. He'd ask himself, if I lost everything tomorrow, would I still have myself? That, to him, was the only true measure of success. Choose the harder path every day. Here's the truth. You don't need to be emperor of anything to live like Marcus Aurelius. You just need to choose the harder path. The path of discipline over impulse, the path of grace over resentment, the path of meaning over comfort. He showed us that even with the world at your feet, the real battle is always within. So the question is, when your moment comes, your adversity, your temptation, your test, will you rise? Will you respond like a philosopher or like everyone else? Because in the end, greatness isn't about what you've conquered. It's about what you've refused to let conquer you. If this resonated with you and you want more philosophy that actually applies to real life, hit that like button and subscribe. And remember, you can't control the world, but you can control who you become in it. See you in the next one.